I mean, I don't even want to know the size of the creature that would have to hold that thing.
The eyes are useless when the mind is blind.
And to all you electrical engineers, this may resemble an electrostatic Wimshurst machine. Sounds complicated, but this one actually converts the ambient field energy, or radiant energy as Tesla would call it, into usable electricity.
Okay, here we go.
Holy shit!
This futuristic device, according to Tesla himself, could send concentrated beams of particles through the air with such tremendous energy.
You better lock in and buckle up because you're in for another creepy video. I'm Jet Ski Chuck, and you want to be careful on these disturbing discoveries because they might just make you rethink your entire reality and question everything. So remember, always keep your head on a swivel, and let's get into these creepy TikToks.
A few hundred feet tall. An account called Unchained Actual sent me this video showing these gigantic swords. Now, I looked around trying to find any news articles of these findings and couldn't find them anywhere. But we do know the Smithsonian seems to swoop in and kind of cover things up. But this sword is public, and look at the size of this thing. It's got to be like 7 feet long, and it's made from the snout of a sea creature. Also, this sword was recently found in Japan, and it's 7 feet 9 inches long. This can be found as public record as well. And there are way more records of giant swords that are found and even on display in museums. Now, what about these? If these were real, do you think that they would make it public record? Do you think this is a leak? Or could it be just really good animation and AI? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and then of course there's the other angle that these were just art pieces that were made. But in that case, why hide it? Why cover it up? You know, just display it as an art piece. But that really, really big sword, I mean, I don't even want to know the size of the creature that would have to hold that thing.
He says he doesn't want to know the size of the creature holding that thing or what it was holding that. Imagine what it had to fight for it to make a sword that big, to defend itself. If you haven't seen my other videos, I highly recommend you check these out. Going in talking about the Leviathan and dragons, man, these things were massive. Let's keep diving in on these ancient weapons. I love this topic.
Oh my days. Oh my diddy. So you want to know if any giant tools, saws, or axes have ever been found? That's good. That's real good. The answer is yes. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. As you can see, that this axe is resting on what we told you was a giant tree stump, not a mountain. So your next question should be, who cut down the trees and why? Oh my days.
I mean, how much more proof do you need? It's right there in front of our faces. I love how he said that. The eyes cannot see when the mind is blind. That is true.
Were these actual weapons of giants? And how could any human of any size wield such a large weapon? There have been giant arrowheads, axes, swords, shields, and even ancient helmets found of gigantic proportions. What or who used them? Were these actual weapons of giants? And how could
Four, three, two, one.
And this is doing, if you want to see, Tesla coils, if you guys can see all that. And this is doing, if you want to see, wireless power right here. Wireless. Why is it wireless? Because what's happening is you have your Tesla coil right here. You have it connected to a source, such as running water. You have that other part connected to a ground, such as beautiful Mother Earth. And then you have an aerial antenna, or an atmospheric antenna, capturing the atmospheric energy. And if you get into all the atmospheric energy patents, what they used to do was they would send out a metallic balloon that was filled with helium, and they would send it up into the air, and the higher up that atmospheric balloon would go into the air, it would capture all the beautiful energy, and they would connect, for example, a piece of copper from those balloons and connect it down into a grid system, and they could get free energy. Now, what's interesting is they talk about atmospheric energy for about maybe an hour or two in the 3rd grade. They'll hit on atmospheric energy and talk about it for about an hour, and when you're in 3rd grade, and then they will never talk about it again. Reason being, because atmospheric energy is being captured by, as my buddy just said, old world tech. Yes, all those beautiful antennas and rods and all different types of spires and those points, those are all capturing the free energy. And so if you look at Tesla's patent, which is interesting because I'll have you guys, you can look this one up, 645-576, 1900 wireless patent. But what's interesting is, as this guy was saying in the book, the antenna is missing from the picture. You see an antenna from this Tesla coil, but you don't see what the antenna looks like. So the question is what did the antennas used to look like? Tesla coils, if you guys can see all that. And this is doing...
So they're hiding what the actual antennas used to look like? That's interesting.
Resonant magnetic field energy of the Earth. How did Tesla do it? Tesla, I think, was actually capturing resonant magnetic field energy of the Earth that's almost boundless. So there are a lot of, quote, free energy approaches. I think the ones that use these very high voltage systems that create a sort of a vector, a tap, into this quantum vacuum energy and zero-point energy field, those began to be stumbled across, but sort of episodically as a phenomenon back in the late 1800s, because that was the heyday when they were first discovering electromagnetism. And I think Maxwell and some of these guys stumbled across this, but they didn't know what it was. You were getting more energy out than you had to put in. So I think you can have a rotational coil-based device. Floyd Sweet, who we feature in the movie, had a solid-state device that was about this big that could run a 300 horsepower electric engine for your car. How did Tesla do it? Tesla, I think, was actually capturing...
I am shocked that we do not have any type of boundless free energy utilizing the atmosphere right now, learning all this stuff.
You may all know this man. This man is called Nikola Tesla. And in my opinion, he's one of the brightest minds in the history of science. And he has worked on technologies which not only harvest electricity from the vacuum of space, but also to transmit it wirelessly across the globe for everybody to use freely. And just to quote him here, electric power is everywhere in unlimited quantities and can power the world's machinery without the need for coal, oil, or gas. Isn't that amazing? Well, unfortunately, his primary investor, called J.P. Morgan, he eventually found out that he could not profit from Tesla's ideas. So he simply cut his funding at one point, and Tesla died a rather poor man, and without the respect he actually deserved. Now, this is just a list of people who have worked on similar technologies, if you're interested and want to do your own research, and I'm just going to name 2 more examples of this list. Next is that of Stanley Meyer. You may all know of the possibility to run your car on hydrogen gas. You got the combustible mixture of oxygen and hydrogen. You burn it, it leaves you with excess power to run your car, and the byproduct of just tap water, H2O. Well, Stanley Meyer actually found out a way to use tap water as a fuel source by hitting the water molecule at its resonant frequency and thereby very effectively splitting the water in hydrogen and oxygen. And with this, he built a dune buggy with which he could drive from the east to the west coast of the United States on just one full tank of water. At one point, unfortunately, he went out to dinner with his investors. Yes, again, investors. And after sipping his cranberry juice, he grabbed his throat. He bolted out the door of the restaurant. He dropped to his knees and cursed that he had been poisoned. And this sounds like something straight from a movie, right? But it's actually real, and you can look up the details yourself. I'll just give one more example, that of an actual working device, currently in Switzerland. And to all you electrical engineers, this may resemble an electrostatic Wimshurst machine. Sounds complicated, but this one actually converts the ambient field energy, or radiant energy as Tesla would call it, into usable electricity. And the reason why Mr. Baumann has chosen not to disclose this technology is that he thinks humanity is simply not ready for it yet. And we may soon see why. So this leaves us with a very big question: what happened? Why are we not driving in water-fueled cars? Why are we not receiving electricity from the atmosphere or the vacuum of space freely? Peter Lindemann is an authority on the radiant energy Tesla was talking about, and he proposed 4 forces, actually. And the first being the banking system. And I know what some of you may think: oh, here comes that guy with that Illuminati conspiracy theory. No, we're going to leave that behind. So in a free market economy, everybody is free to earn as much money as they like, but only in the form of the dollar or the euro or whatever currency you have. So you're never going to be paid in gold anymore, for example. So if I would have a system with which I can raise my own capital without borrowing it from a bank, the control of this banking system is lost. So naturally, they do everything to stop this. You can even see this in current day technologies, like photovoltaics and wind turbines. They're already being regulated more and more because of their devaluating capacity. It's even on the cover of The Economist. It's not a big secret or conspiracy. And that brings me to the second force: national governments. Because governments found out that the true policy that actually works is called an eye for an eye. So it's constantly jockeying for influence in world affairs, and it's survival of the fittest, basically. So imagine when one nation or one party in another nation achieves the ability to generate their own power. The balance of power literally shifts from the government to that other nation or party within that nation. And everybody will want this technology, and at the same time, everybody will want to prevent the other from getting it. So to prevent this chaos, governments do something smart. They issue a restriction on any patent or invention that can give an opponent an advantage over the government in power generation. It's called invention secrecy, and it's still going strong, as the Federal Agency of American Scientists says. The third group is actually comprised of the deluded inventors, or fraudsters, if you will, which actually are only in it for the money. So the problem is most of these devices don't work. YouTube is full of them. And actually the first 2 forces use the worst cases of these people to promote the idea that every technology concerning this free energy is a hoax, is a scam. So nobody believes in it anymore. And then there's the people who actually have built a device that works, but they're still in it for the money. And then Shell comes to their doorstep and says, hey, here's a couple of $1 million, go live a happy life, but don't speak about your technology again. So what is a couple of $1 million to a $20 trillion industry anyway? I'm really wondering if somebody from the audience can guess what the 4th force is. What is the 4th force that's preventing this tech from happening? Anybody has an idea? Consumers. Exactly. It's all the rest of us. It's you and me. Because you see, in the incentives and the motives of the first 3 forces, they seem so selfish and so narrow. But in reality, we share those same motives. These forces are literally just different aspects of the same problem. It's a human one. It's the greed, and it's the fear of competition, and it's that want for power. So in the end, I believe that this revolution, it has to happen within our lifetimes. And either it goes horribly wrong, and we destroy ourselves in the process, or we as a people choose the green transition. And we can nowadays, because we have the internet to form a critical mass and spread the information. as opposed to, let's say, 20 years ago. So that's why I challenge you all to do your own research into this subject, if you are interested, and spread the word. Because it is up to us to develop this technology that is already there. And the first three forces are not going to help us with this. And I would like to close with this. The true basic need of every human, I don't think it's water, it's not food, and it certainly is not money. I think it's energy. And that is why my hope for the future is a world in which energy is free for everybody. Thank you very much. You may all know this man. This man is called Nikola Tesla. And in my...
Damn, I love that, man. We were just talking about that. That hit the nail on the head. This needs to be free for everyone, man. Who is that? It's just somebody random uploaded this, man. Just a random account. Man, that's what we need to be doing. But they said that there's a government patent that says, look, if you're better than us, we can't allow that. So that's out cold. So even if we did have something, I don't know what we could do, y'all.
And to all you electrical engineers, this may resemble an electrostatic Wimshurst machine. Sounds complicated, but this one actually converts the ambient field energy, or radiant energy as Tesla would call it, into usable electricity.
Boundless free energy utilizing the atmosphere right now, learning all this stuff. At the end, this plant just started going crazy and looked just like the plant, like roots. It's like got a root system, just like that plant does.
They have a lot of Nikola Tesla's inventions already done, produced, and tested. We know that he came up with the scalar weapon, and they already used the scalar weapon. We actually integrated that into different radar systems. As a matter of fact, the thing that brought down the UFO, the famous UFO from 1947 in New Mexico, right, the Roswell incident, that was a scalar beam that came from the United States military, most likely engineered or reverse engineered from Nikola Tesla's documents. They discovered that scalar weapon, it wasn't really used as a weapon at first. It was a radar system. They discovered that it disoriented these craft and brought them down. In some weird way, it disoriented their ships. I believe that's how we began to figure out how to bring these things down, capture them, and reverse engineer them. I think the government has a lot of technology that they've been holding back from the general population for several reasons. One reason is for national security and global security. I can agree with that 1,000%, because there's a lot of people out here that if they got their hands on some of this technology would try to utilize it to take over the world. I mean, that's just a known fact because it's the nature of mankind. The next thing is also monetary capitalization. How do you take this technology? They want to, of course, weaponize it, make money there. Then they want to break it down for civilian use and then capitalize on it there as well. So you have the combination between the two. Monetizing in military is weaponization, and then monetizing and capitalization in the civilian area. They have a lot of Nikola Tesla's inventions already done, produced, and
It makes you wonder, what type of technology do they really have? What technology are they utilizing that they took from Nikola Tesla?
By the government. It is said that Nikola Tesla knew the secrets of the pyramids of Giza. He said that the pyramids were more than just tombs for the pharaohs. He stated that the pyramids were built to transmit energy all over the globe. That would explain why there are pyramids everywhere around the world. It is also said that Nikola Tesla developed a powerful weapon that could wipe out armies in an instant. This weapon was called the Tesla Death Ray, and it said that one night in 1908, Nikola Tesla wanted to test this weapon. So he sent a man by the name of Robert Peary to the Arctic, and Tesla aimed his weapon towards the Arctic and fired it up. But when Robert telegrammed Tesla, he said nothing happened. But later that day, Tesla read on the newspaper that in a forest in Siberia, 800 squared miles of trees were burnt and leveled to the ground. And officials speculated it was a meteor, but there was no crater at the scene. And at that moment, Nikola Tesla dismantled the weapon because it was too dangerous for human use. And after his mysterious death, Nikola Tesla's blueprints mysteriously disappeared. But people speculate the United States government confiscated his blueprints so they wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. Nikola Tesla was killed by the government.
Nikola Tesla, the enigmatic genius who illuminated the 20th century, had conceived a weapon of unparalleled destruction, a death ray. This futuristic device, according to Tesla himself, could send concentrated beams of particles through the air with such tremendous energy that they would obliterate a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes or cause armies to drop dead, all from a staggering distance of 200 miles away. Desperate to see his invention utilized for the greater good, Tesla approached several governments, offering both the death ray and the peace ray versions of his particle beam technology. Despite his impassioned pleas and unshakable belief in the device's potential, the world was not ready for such a revolutionary concept. Tesla's death ray remained confined to the realm of imagination, a tantalizing glimpse of what could have been, never to see the light of realization.
Leomano, a traditional weapon of various Polynesian cultures, is predominantly associated with the native Hawaiians. This formidable weapon takes the form of a shark-toothed club, featuring a thick, paddle-like structure inset with sharp shark teeth. One theory proposes that the teeth could break off upon impact, causing fragments to become lodged in wounds. Additionally, the teeth could be readily replaced, enhancing the weapon's effectiveness. Typically, the teeth are sourced from tiger sharks and are meticulously placed into grooves along the club's edges, securely sewn into position. Additionally, the tip of the handle may incorporate a marlin bill, providing an additional stabbing implement. The Leomano combines the blunt force of a club with the slicing capabilities of its razor-sharp teeth. If one were to be stabbed by the Leomano, the consequences would be severe. The jagged edges of the teeth would tear through tissue and muscle, causing multiple wounds and profuse bleeding with a single strike.
The Norimitsu Adachi, a colossal weapon hailing from Japan, has intrigued many with its unparalleled dimensions. Forged seamlessly as a single piece, this sword stretches a staggering 3.77 meters, tipping the scales at a remarkable 14.5 kilograms. The sheer enormity of this blade leaves people astounded and eager to unravel its mysteries. Scholars and enthusiasts alike have pondered about the identity of its enigmatic owner and speculated on the stature of the warrior who wielded it in battle. With more questions than answers, the Norimitsu Adachi stands as a testament to the awe-inspiring craftsmanship and the captivating stories concealed within ancient Japanese weaponry.
Yeah, I'm starting to really believe that giants wielded these weapons and that they're keeping them from us for entertainment purposes only. Tell me what you guys think. Sword of Guojan. 2,400-year-old sword discovered. It's amazing that the sword being in damp conditions for 2,000 years was untarnished. The ancient weapon was discovered in China is so sharp that it can cut through a stack of 20 pieces of paper.
From gold daggers. From the Bronze Age. 1700 to 1600. Gold greaves shin armor. Silver dagger. Bronze Age. 2500 to 1900 BC. Bronze dagger. Bronze Age. 1800 to 1600 BC.
It's hard to believe I'm walking through the ruins of the first ever city, because I'm not. That's in Iraq, which is miles away.
November 2022, some Japanese scientists made super cool discovery. They found a huge iron sword, kind of like Dako sword, in this really old burial place in Nara. But before we start, from which country are you follow us today? Let's continue. This sword is no joke. It's a whopping 7.5 feet long. That's taller than a lot of people. And guess what? It's the biggest fully intact sword ever found in Japan. Imagine stumbling upon something that ancient and massive. They dug it up from a 1,600-year-old mound. Yes, you heard it right. 1,600 years old. That's like going back in time and seeing what people were up to way back when. Picture this, archaeologists carefully uncovering the sword, piece by piece. It's like a real-life treasure hunt. So there you have it, a giant ancient sword making headlines in Japan. How awesome is that?
Thing in the back looks like a giant palm tree. That has to be CGI. That thing in the back looks like a giant palm tree.
Classic UFO video. A few lights turn on one after another, so you don't know. Classic UFO video. A few lights turn on one after another, so you don't know if it's several crafts or a disc. And then... What was that? A doomsday laser weapon? I don't know. This video have been circulating and I just don't know.
That's interesting.
Whoa. Never seen this before.
This message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere. It is speculated.
Fire! This is the largest caliber cannon in human history. Each shell weighed 15,000 pounds. One blast can bomb a deep crater the size of 4 football fields. It's the Gustav cannon. It was developed by the German company Krupp. Entered service in 1941. Its entire length is 141 feet, 23 feet wide. The total weight is up to 3 million pounds. The caliber reached 31.5 inches. The length of the barrel alone is over 98 feet. The entire cannon is located on 2 railroad tracks. can carry two exclusive types of ammunition. One is a 10,000-pound high explosive bomb. The other is a 15,000-pound armor-piercing projectile. The longest range is over 29 miles. It was the longest range artillery piece in World War II. Only 6 shells were ever fired. Then the opponent's fortress was blasted into rubble. It also penetrated an underground ammunition depot 98 feet deep, but its lifespan is also very short. Only 40 shells can be fired. After reaching this amount, the gun barrel will be irreversibly damaged by multiple violent shocks. Fire!
Okay, here we go.
Holy shit!
Okay. We're good?
Okay.
Mike! Okay, here we go.
Holy shit!
Tesla released an update that makes it safer when the frunk closes on things. Right now, it's not very safe. Ouchie. Tesla did some software magic where the resistance is tweaked and it won't do this anymore. Is that actually true? We're going to find out in just a second. But first, this is the control of the experiment. This is before the software update. It is destroying everything. The software update is on the Tesla, ready to install right now. The eggplant actually passed. This is before the software update. Everything is pretty much damaged. This is the largest Cybertruck software update yet. This is basically known as the spring update, and it installed so many new features. What we're testing is under the other updates, and it mentions the powered frunk can better detect obstructions just before it finishes closing. So we're going to install this right now. Just like that, the Cybertruck is updated and it should not be crushing any bananas. I'm so impressed. If it doesn't damage this, I'll be very impressed. It's very long, but very delicate. That's actually insane. Now the carrot, I'm gonna put like the tiniest tip in there. Ooh. Sorry, let's put it in a little bit farther. That's better. Don't put anything too small in there. Last but not least, the eggplant. We already know it's gonna do good because it survived.
Did you guys get one of these? Let me know in the comments below. Call of Duty Zombies. I'd seen it. I was trying to guess what it was. But that's all I got for today's episode. If you made it this far, be sure you hit that like and subscribe. And some words of encouragement really help your boy pump these out, man. We've been going hard lately, so let's keep this rolling, man. I love you guys. Shout outs to the Most High. All praises. And yeah, man. All praises to the Most High. Thank you for this episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.